In this video, I'll demonstrate how to add a Certified Professional Installer or CPI certificate and add an LTE AP to the Ruckus LTE AP Management Portal. So far what we've done is we've configured a venue. So we have one venue. We've configured a network called the Ruckus EPC West. Under our Administration tab, we've set up our SAS information. We've set up our ECGI record. And now what we need to do is enter our CPI details. LTE APs must be certified by a CPI professional installer before they can become operational. Only a certified professional installer can certify an AP to lawfully operate within the designated spectrum of CBRS. The CPI must be certified by Ruckus or other certification providers, such as Federated Wireless, by taking a professional course and passing a proctored exam. These individuals will receive a CPI ID, a certificate file package, and a password that must be entered to certify the LTE AP. So I'm going to add my CPI details. I'm going to put in a CPI name, and this can be any name. So we're going to have John Doe CPI. The CPID is something that the CPI installer receives after they finish their proctored course and pass. So this has already been populated, and this is unique. Then there is a certified package that the installer would receive. So I'm going to select that file, pressing on select. And now I'm going to open my test CPI certification, and that's a P12 package. And then I'm going to enter my certificate package password. And then I'm going to click Save. So now that we've entered our CPI credentials, the AP can be installed and certified. What we're going to do now is to add our first access point. So from the dashboard main menu, I would click on APs, and I'm going to add an LTE AP. I'm going to give the AP a name. In this case, I'll call it Art Studio. Description, we'll give that Art Studio as well. I could put in an additional tag, and now I need to put in the serial number, which is located on the bottom of the access point. So I put in the first 4 digits. Now watch what happens when I put in the next 2 digits of 29. The 5th and 6th digits, being 29 respectively, will make the system aware that the AP being added is an LTE AP, and as a result enable the GPS-related configuration parameters. So I'll put in the rest of the serial number, and I'll scroll down to talk a little bit about the timing information. As a note, the timing information is not requested while adding a Wi-Fi AP. This is one way to ensure that the serial number being entered belongs to an LTE AP and not a Wi-Fi AP. Each venue needs a timing source, and it can be external or it can be an AP with clear visibility to the open sky to receive a GPS signal. If an external GPS source is unavailable, you need to define at least one AP as the GPS timing source and designate it as a master. As a note, a timing source is required for each venue. The only exception is when there is just one AP connected and configured into the venue. In that case, the AP can operate without any timing source. More than one AP in a venue requires a timing sync, and hence a timing source needs to be defined. So if I wanted to designate a timing source, I could set timing source as GPS, and it says make sure the parent AP is installed near where the GPS signal can be available. So we need to put that by a window. And you could also select to set this as a timing master. One other thing is that you also need to make sure that the LAN allows point-to-point traffic, and the master AP is on the same layer 2 network as all the other APs, expecting to obtain timing information from the master AP. If you only have one AP in a geographic location, you don't need to tick the Set Timing Source as GPS or set it as a timing master. If you have multiple APs in one geographic location, such as a multi-story building, then one AP must be set as a GP timing source and one AP must be set as the timing master. Next is our AP location. I could manually enter the latitude, longitude, and the height. Or if you calibrated your venue with a floor plan, you don't have to manually enter the latitude and longitude. You can just position your AP on the floor plan. So that's what I'm going to do. I've got go to floor plan. I've got that ticked, and I'm going to go ahead and create. And this will create the access point. And now I'm going to place that AP on my floor plan. So I'll click on Edit Mode. And I'm going to take that AP symbol and drag it over into the location where the access point is, and then I'll click Save. and that'll update the access point. Now, if I go back to the AP menu, the AP is now going to contact the cloud and provision itself. And this whole process is going to take about 15 to 20 minutes. So while the AP is provisioning itself, let's talk a little bit about the APs. You can power on the Ruckus LTE APs by using an AC adapter, which is included in the box, or a PoE Plus switch and ejector. You would plug an RJ45 cable with a reliable internet connection into the AP. For more information on installation and setup, you can refer to the quick setup guide included in the box. Let's talk about the status of the LTE LEDs. If I go to my Help menu, and I go to Help for this page, and I click on Troubleshooting Basic Issues, Troubleshooting LTE Issues, and Initial Setup Issues, if I scroll down here, I'll get a status of the various LEDs and what that means. The power LED, if that goes solid green, that means that the AP has booted successfully and obtained a routable IP address. For the element management system, when that goes solid green, it means that the AP is being managed by the EMS. If it's a fast flashing green, then the AP is being managed by the EMS and is receiving a configuration or a firmware update. On the Evolved Packet Core LED, a green light means that the AP is connected to the EPC. And slow flashing means that the AP is unable to connect to the EPC. For the sync LED, if you selected to use the sync function, a green would mean that the time synchronization is achieved. And if it is off, it means that's a standalone mode and it removes timing dependency for the operation. For the LTE LED, if it's amber, the LTE transmission is on and no user equipment or a client is attached. When it goes solid green, that means that you do have a UE client that's attached to it. So if I go back to my dashboard, you'll see that my AP has now contacted the cloud, and I'm going to pause the recording until the access point is fully provisioned itself, and then we're ready to certify it. And after about 15 minutes, you'll get a connection status here, and if I click on this, you'll notice here that it says the AP is not ready, but it is at 94%. And it says the following information needs to be completed. It needs to be certified. So I can do this one of two ways. I can edit the AP, and I can go down to the bottom of the menu here, and I can certify and save. But I'm going to cancel that for just 1 second and show you another way that this could happen. I could go to the AP, and I can go all the way to the end, and I can say certify. So we could certify it this way. And if I click on that, that'll say certifying the AP. And now we get that the AP is now certified. And if I go back and click on this, for example, if I go to edit the AP and I scroll to the bottom of that, you'll see that it is certified. So that's just two ways that we can certify that, either through the edit the AP or on the access point menu. So within a few minutes, the AP will now be fully functional. As a note, if the CPI credentials were not configured prior to adding an AP, a prompt will ask for it, and it will only be available for the session. Once the session times out or the tenant logs out, the CPI details are purged and need to be re-entered. All right, so now we're operational. I'd like to show just a couple more things here. If I click on the access point, and if I click on more, this will give me a lot more information on this AP. So you get your basic information, name, venue, and so forth, serial number. But what I want to do is scroll down here to my radio parameters. You'll notice that my ECGI is the PLMN ID number and the macro eNode B number. It gives me the physical cell ID. What I want to mention here is that if you are intending to use a shared HNI, an ECGI record must be configured before adding the AP. We showed how to do this in our video on the ECGI concepts and adding the LTE network video. You also notice here that the timing row is independent and internal clock. If we scroll down, another thing here is my SAS information. In this release, we support single-step registration with SAS. After saving with a CPI certification, the AP location data is encrypted, and each AP will attempt to register with a configured SAS using this encrypted payload. This ensures the certified location data is securely transferred to the SAS for verification. SASs have protocols in place to decrypt and verify this data and eventually accept AP registration. This initiates the CBSD, which is the SAS to AP protocol, ultimately resulting in a grant permission to transmit LTE. So I'm going to close this out. And if we go back to our main dashboard, you can see now that we have one green venue and we have one AP that is now fully operational. Our next step is to go ahead and attach clients to this. I do want to show one other thing though. So if I click on that AP, select that particular AP, under the More menu, I could do a couple things. I can blink the LEDs, reboot, disable the AP service, or delete the access point, or do a factory reset. I just want to click on this blink LEDs. It says the AP LEDs blink for 30 seconds, and this is just a nice feature to make location and troubleshooting a little easier. So for example, if you have 3 or 4 LTE APs on the ceiling somewhere, you might want to blink these just to make sure you know which one is the one that you're talking to. So just a nice little feature. So that's all you need to do to add CPI credentials and add an LTE AP. If you have more than one LTE AP to add, you can continue to install and certify each one. Now we're ready to attach clients to our LTE network.